Hey there folks, welcome to the channel. My name's Dave, and I am finally back, and I have another book haul. Nowhere near in size or scope to what I added to the collection in December, but still I think January was a pretty solid month. So let's just get right into it. Now, I'm going to start with some online purchases, very few. Picked these up, these first couple I picked up on eBay. And first up is Rally Cry by William Fortune, The Lost Regiment, Book 1. Now, I talked about this in my last video about, I had picked up a couple, I think Book 6 and Book 8 of the Lost Regiment series, and I wanted to make this a priority for a series to read in 2025. I just couldn't contain myself. I couldn't wait around, and I ended up just picking this up off of eBay, as I said, and I chose, perhaps unwisely, to go with, I think this was Better World Books or Thrift Books or one of those two. And it's, you know what you get. It's usually crap when you order from one of those places, but again, I was just impatient, couldn't wait. So maybe by the time I get around to the couple of series that I'm working on right now, once I finish one of those, I'll get onto this one. So maybe in a couple of months. So looking forward to that. This next one I saw in the latest edition of the Paperback Fanatic, and this is Robert E. Toomey Jr.'s A World of Trouble. And this is a Ballantine from, oh, what is it? 1973. So I saw this mentioned among others in a particular article. I can't remember which one it was. I probably should have looked that up before I got the video rolling, but what the hell. But anyway, this just sounded interesting, and I found one for cheap, and so here it is. And that's all I got from eBay. Now, I did make a deal with the devil and pick up one thing off of Amazon, and there's a reason behind it. And I think it's a good reason, and it's not just justification, I promise you, or rationalization, or whatever you want to call it. And this is Sword of the North by Luke Scull. It is the second in the Grimm Company series of books, and again on Rock. And I picked this up for New Book Money because I did end up reading the first book, The Grimm Company, in January. Now, maybe I'll talk about that whenever I get around to doing the January reading update, but I really enjoyed it. And so I felt obviously I'm going to continue on with the series, but I thought that I would want to also support the author and pick it up, New Book Money from Amazon. So hopefully he'll get something out of it. We'll see. But yeah, anyway, this is another Rock book, which is a publisher that I'm kind of keen on lately. When did this come out? 2016. So not vintage. Well, obviously it's not old, it's brand new, but I mean, it's not a vintage printing or whatever. But still, interesting story. And I'll have more on that in a minute, the next video, like it's going to be a minute. All right, well, let me shuffle some things around, and we'll get to let's go where we're going to go next, thrift stores. All right, so in the town that I live in, I have two thrift stores. One I go to frequently, the other one I rarely go to, but a couple weekends back, I decided to take Saturday and just hit them both up and see what they had, and came back with a decent stack. First up is a series that I've never heard of. This is apparently number 10 in the Agent Brad Spears series. This is Lady Rustler. This by Chad Calhoun, who is actually Ron Goulart. So this came out, or was published in '82 on Dell. And yeah, so it looks like a Western, adult Western, but that whole Agent Brad Spears kind of gives it a, I don't know, mystery sort of vibe, maybe, I don't know, detective sort of vibe. Don't know anything about it. It's not in great shape. It's kind of, kind of warped here, but definitely readable. And I don't know, give it a shot. If anybody's heard of this series or what you think of it, I know Goulart has been primarily known for his science fiction, but I don't know, be interesting to see. So if you've read any of these series, I'd like to hear from you. Let me know what you think. Something I was starting to get back into some point last year. I can't remember exactly when. Was the Ryan verse, Tom Clancy's Ryan verse. Back in the 90s, I read, Hunt for Red October, Sum of All Fears, Clear and Present Danger, Cardinal of the Kremlin. I can't remember which other ones I read, but I want to try to get them through published order. So I pick them up as I find them, and this is The Teeth of the Tiger. I can't remember exactly where this one fits in the Ryan verse, but it's in there somewhere. It's definitely not the next one. I can't remember what the next one I have to read is, but it's not this one. So this was originally published in 2003. This is a 2004 paperback, obviously. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of dig Tom Clancy. I got out of him for a little while there. Well, a lot of while out of there, about almost 30 years. But I don't know. It's worth, I think, getting back into it and seeing what I missed. The next two I am going to blame on Nick over at the Book Graveyard. I have never read any of these types of books before, and what I'm talking about are Gothics. And this is Fog Hides the Fury by Paula Minton. Again, never read a Gothic in my life. Nick seems to be high on them, so I'll give it a try. This is a Magnum book. Looks like #2 Gothic. This was printed in '67. So interesting to see what this one's all about. And now I've heard of this author before. Again, I've never read anything by her, but this is Hills of Fire by Dorothy Daniels. Another Gothic. This is Warner Brothers, I believe. Yeah, Warner paperback from 1973. So I hear that Dorothy is kind of a very prolific author in the Gothic realm. So again, first one I've ever seen on the shelf from her, so I grabbed it. Give it a try. And then the next two I'm going to blame directly on Criminale. I'm almost embarrassed to bring these up, but whatever. This is Queen of the May by Danae Cody or whatever. This is a zebra lovegram romance, and what caught my eye, it's kind of based on Arthurian legends, so okay, I'll give this a shot and just see what happens. I've never read a romance before either, but Ollie seems to be interested in them and thinks that they have some merit. So this was published in '97. Maybe not such as I don't know, spicy as the 70s, 80s books that he reads, but just because of the basic Arthurian thing, I thought it would justify it that way. And then I think this is more in line with Ollie's wheelhouse, I guess. This is Laurie McBain's Devil's Desire. I think this is one of those things they call a bodice ripper. This is on Avon, and I think this is right in that wheelhouse of the 70s. Yeah, 75, mid 70s. So I don't know when I'm going to get to those. One of these days I'll figure it out, and I don't know. I don't know. We'll just see. We'll see what happens. That's all I'm going to say. So next up, the used bookstore in town. All right, so I took in a load of books for store credit at my local used bookstore and came back with another stack. Basically, it's a wash, and I'm fine with that. Works for me. And this first one I picked up is another directly attributable to Criminale, not romance. So, but this is Blood Oath by David Morrell. Ollie had a video recently about Morrell and him being what Ollie considered to be a underappreciated or underrepresented author in the booktube community. Nobody really is talking about his books. Of course, he wrote First Blood, which the Rambo series that were based on, or at least the first one was based on. But he went into some of Morrell's other work and kind of was really kind of high on him as an author. So I happened to see this one here or there and picked it up. And this came out in '82. So it was published obviously after First Blood, otherwise they wouldn't have put that on the bottom. So, and this is a faucet. So eager to give that one a shot and see what that's all about. This next one, man, I have a love-hate relationship with this guy. So this is Comes the Wraith by John Teagues. And leisure horror novel from some point in the 90s, 1990. So I've read 2 books by Teagues, and both of them, the story, the concept was something that caught my attention and was something that made me want to read that book. Both times I was less than impressed. One of them, I think it was Kiss the Child. Is that the one? Shit, I can't remember. But anyway, I just thought it was on the verge of suck. So when I see a Teagues book, I'm like, he always has good ideas, but he fails to execute. Maybe this one's better. Let me know what you think about Teagues. Is there something I'm missing? Is there a book of his that you find to be, head and shoulders above the rest? I'd like to give that a try. What do you think of this particular one, Comes the Wraith? Is this worth it? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I guess keep doing that to myself. This one I picked up because I don't know why. It's supposedly a mystery sort of thing. Well, I don't want to say a detective, but it's Crystal Skull by Rob McGregor. And this is a Valentine mystery, it says. And it just seems kind of intriguing. An ancient Mayan myth could lead Florida PI Nicholas Pierce to the secret of immortality if it doesn't kill him first. I mean, standard shit. 1991. I don't know. It just looked cool. Cover looked cool. The name's cool. Picked it up. Here is another rock, which again, I'm high on that publisher right now. This is The Fire Queen by Jack Holland, and this starts a series. I can't remember the name of the series, but this came out in 92, and it's basically about ancient Celts and their conflict, in particular with Roman troops. So, I mean, it just seems that's just right up my alley. So, interesting to pick that one up. I might get to that one sooner rather than later. All right, a little bit of men's adventure now on Gold Eagle. This is Speedball #1, Code Zero. Don't know anything about this series. It's by D.A. Hodgman, which I think was a pseudonym of somebody. I can't remember off the top of my head now. This was published in 1992. I don't know. Speedboats probably has something to do with drug running. Certainly the mafia is involved. So, and here is another rock, and this is the start of another series, a alternate history series. This is The Year the Cloud Fell by Kurt R.A. Giambastiani, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Yeah, and this starts off, like I said, it starts a series. I can't remember how many are in this, but it's, I'm a fan of alternate history. I dig it every now and then. This is 2001, so it's not that old. But, see, if you notice here, we've got an American cavalry soldier, Native American, and a dinosaur and a dirigible. So, see how that goes. And of course, here's a Daw Yellow Spine. I definitely have it on my agenda to read as many of the Daw Yellow Spines as I can. This is The Green Gene by Peter Dickinson. This is an author I don't know anything about, or I know nothing about. This is Daw number 174. The tagline is, When the Irish and Scots Turned Green. So, I don't know. It says, clever, funny, adult. So, what more do you want? And this was from 1973. So this is interesting. I also thought it was interesting that the Yellow Spine had not just the standard colorization and font there. That was a little different. So I thought that was kind of cool. Oh yeah, and the back just absolutely sucks. But this one I'm totally stoked about. This is Lady of the Haven by Graham Diamond. This is the first in a series called the Empire Princess. This is out on Playboy Books. This is one I have been looking for. I have restrained myself from hitting eBay for this. This came out in 1978. But yeah, this is a very interesting fantasy series, or at least I think it's an interesting fantasy series. It sounds like it from the synopsis. So when I found this, totally stoked, really excited, and this is definitely going up on that priority list on the TBR. Back to the men's adventure here. This is Silvernail by Jim Morris. Looks like a, I don't know, jungle combat of something or other. Central American hotspot to lead a rebels war. Okay, so we got some Contra action going on here probably. And this is on Dell. It came out in, oh, what the hell did it come out in? 86. Don't know anything about this. Although I just noticed that the author that copyrighted is Jim. No, that's right, Jim Morris. Yeah, same guy, Jim Morris. Don't know anything about him. Don't know anything about the book, but Guns and Jungles. And last up from the used bookstore is this Signet. I'm guessing it is a PI series. This is Decoy #1, The Great Pretender, by Jim Dean. Don't know anything about this one either. I don't know a lot about a lot, it seems like, but I'm getting there. So yeah, just looks like kind of that hard-boiled PI. I mean, he's got that gun. He's telling you he means business, and then of course he's got the lady, and then a speedboat, or no, is that a speedboat? Coast Guard cutter? I don't know. Something's blowing up in the background too, so that should be cool. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up what I got from the used bookstore. And one other thing here, and be right back. All right, so I saved the one nonfiction book that I picked up in January to the end because, so I was at an antique mall in a few towns around later down south, and they were having an end of year or New Year sale or whatever. And I only really saw one thing, and I picked this up. This is A Tale of Two Subs by Jonathan J. McCullough. It's about it's a World War II nonfiction, obviously, not a novel. It's about the Sculpin and Sailfish, two subs that kind of had their destinies tied to one another in the Pacific. And I don't know, I'm into that. I'm really not really much into maritime history, naval history, but why not? Looked interesting, and it was cheap. So, all right, that's all I got. Again, not anywhere near as productive as December, but I think there's still plenty here. Hell, I've barely made a dent in December's books, so I mean, I'm going to be reading these things for 30 or 40 years if I'm still around. But anyway, appreciate you sticking around to the end. If you got any thoughts on any of these books, any of these authors, maybe these particular authors have done something a little bit better than what I've picked up so far, give me some tips. I really would appreciate it down in the comments. But until I see you next time, I hope you're doing well and hope you stay well, and keep them pages turning. Talk to you soon.